Hey girlfriends, welcome in and welcome back to Sweetly Good. This is a place where femininity meets faith and health, and we talk about all of the things that has to do with our purpose and also that helps to bring us closer to God. So today we're going to be talking about standing on business and how to do that, because sometimes what happens is we may get swayed by things in life and like things that happen, and we have to understand how to stand on business in a world where growing to be holy and growing to be righteous and what that means. So today's Bible study, the topic is victory in spiritual warfare. And I'm all too familiar with this. One day when I actually sit down, I'll tell you my story about how I was under spiritual warfare and why I had to end up moving to a different place when God told me that it was time to move. But I'm also familiar with that. Our thought is, Lord, help me to put on the full armor of God and stand firm against the enemy. We're taking this from Ephesians 6 verses 10 to 11, but I kind of read further down because this is really talking about the whole armor of God. And it starts by saying, finally, brethren, be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. When you continue to read on, it talks about how we're going to put on the whole armor of God so that we may stand against the wiles of the evil. And even further down, it's telling us that we're not fighting against flesh and blood, that this is really a spiritual warfare, that anything that's going on in your natural, there is something fighting against it in the spiritual. Now, when in the part where we talk about standing on business, it says, stand therefore having girded your waist with truth, having on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel peace. When I go back to verse 13, it says, therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand the evil day, and having done all to stand. So it's really talking about being able to stand on business. And when you stand on God and you put on the whole armor of God, you can withstand anything. And then it further goes in and asks these questions, right? 2 questions. How can I prepare myself for spiritual battles? In a battle, you may have the best laid out strategy, but what I found in any battle is that you have to have a commander or a captain that's in charge. That's your chief. That's God. And so for me, standing on business means that I am putting on that whole armor of God, means that I'm staying in my word. It means that I'm praying. It means that I'm having a pure heart and I'm asking God to cleanse me of any unrighteousness. But I'm also putting my trust and my confidence in God, that when I put on his whole armor, that he's going to be the one fighting my battles. He has the strategies. He knows what to do to win the battle over the enemy. So to me, that is part of what standing on business is. The second question asks, what victories has God already won in my life? So many that I can't really. He is helping me right now in this space to be free. And that's actually tomorrow's Bible study is walking in freedom. But he is helping me to be free. This weekend, I went and I cleaned out my storage. And when I cleaned out my storage, the first thing I did was I went to the storage just to see if everything could fit in my car, how many trips I might have to make, what needed to come in my house, what can go into the other storage that I have that's on the premises of where I live, and also what kinds of things were in the storage. So doing that the night before helped me to understand that I could make 2 trips. And one trip had to be with things that could fit into my home. And the second trip had to be with things that can go to my sister's house. And the things that went to my sister's house were things like I sew. So it was like 3 bins of cloth, and then the candles that I make, that the containers when you burn the candles, was those. So those are things that could be recyclable. I was very conscious about the things that I was putting in other spaces, because I didn't want things that brought me pain to go in another place that brought someone else pain. So what I did was I brought those things there, and then I have a box in my car and also my bike. So I'll be going through those papers. And as I was looking at the papers, I started to look at all the places from those papers where I felt inadequate, right? Where I felt like I was not enough. And what that helped me to do is to kind of look at the space where God has me in right now, where I know that I am enough. I don't question my value. Others may try to make you feel like you don't have value, but I don't question my value. I understand that my value lays in God. And when God knows what my value is, that is all that matters, because what he'll do is take my little and he'll make it much. So when we're talking about victory, we're talking about being free, we're talking about overcoming, right? These are the things that God has done for me in my life. So today we're going to be making a coconut flatbread, and this dish is going to be Caribbean inspired. We're going to be making plantain, and we're going to put coconut oil on our plantain. It gets to like a nice golden brown because I want them to be like plantain chips. And then, like I said, we're going to make a coconut flatbread from scratch, and we're going to be making some coconut curry chickpeas. So how we're going to make this is as a flatbread. We're going to put the coconut curry in there with tomatoes, lettuce, sun-dried tomatoes, and I think we have some pickled onions. If we don't have pickled onions, we'll do fresh onions. So that's what we're going to be making today. So stay tuned and let me get these ingredients and let's get to cooking so that we can start eating. This coconut flatbread is so easy to make. There are, let me count how many ingredients. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ingredients in here, but we're going to be using 6 because every time I go to the store to get a coconut, the coconuts are never really good. So I'm struggling to find like a fresh coconut that I can actually bust open, get the coconut water out of there, and then grate it to make my own coconut milk and also to use in some of the recipes that I have. So what I've done is I've taken out the grated coconut out of this recipe and just have make it as. So let us get started. The first thing that we're going to need is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And I had started to make this already without being on camera. But I like for myself when I'm watching these videos to see how people make these, like every single step of the way. So what I do is I put the flour in here and I just level it off with my spatula. So that's 1 cup. Let's go in and get that 2nd cup. So I made this flatbread before, and what I loved about it is that it just gave me a nice take on making flatbread that didn't have to be like just like a plain flatbread. So it gave me the opportunity to make something that was Caribbean inspired, because a lot of the dishes that I make right now, since I'm working on balance and hormones, a lot of the dishes that I'm creating, they have coconut in there. And so that's always like, I love anything with coconut. When I was younger, my mom used to grate the coconut. And when she grated the coconut, she would put sugar on top of the coconut. And so that was like a little treat for us. So we just absolutely love that little treat. The second thing, I'm going to be putting all of my dry ingredients together. So I am going to go in with my 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And if you didn't know about the baking powder, this little lid right here is so you can level off the baking powder well. So what you do is you take the baking powder and then you're going to just take this lid right here and you level it off, and it gives you the exact measurement. Okay, so that's 1 teaspoon of baking, half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm using Himalayan salt. Okay, there we go, half a teaspoon. It's a little bit more because some spilled out, and I ain't gonna try to act like it didn't, because it did. Half a teaspoon of salt, and that gives us our dry ingredients. Let me grab a spoon, rather a whisk. Now, the reason that I make the flatbread first is because it needs to sit and rest for like about 20 minutes. While it's resting, I'm gonna be cutting up my plantain and putting that in the oven, and then I can start on my chickpeas because that can sit in and cook by itself as well. So we're gonna put our dry ingredients to the side. And then we're going to be adding in what I like to do, because I have wet ingredients. I like to add the wet ingredients in a separate container so that I can add it in gradually with the exact measurements. So this right here is coconut milk. So I went to the store. I couldn't find the one I like, so I just used the Goya one, and that's going to work fine as well. It just needs to be coconut milk. Now, some of these coconut milks, the reason why I like certain coconut milks is that they don't have this coconut pulp, I guess I would say. I really like the coconut milks that are cleaner, that are a lot more smoother. All right. So in terms of the coconut milk, we are going to put a half a cup of coconut milk. Make sure that you shake your coconut milk well so that you can incorporate everything. So there we go, half a cup of coconut milk. And then we're going to be adding 1/4 cup of water. And this is one of the most easiest things to make. The next ingredient that we're going to be adding is 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. And we're going to melt that because we are going to be incorporating that also into our batter. So that's our wet ingredients. We're going to keep that flour handy as well because we're going to use it to roll out on our cutting board. Okay. So again, I'm coming with my spatula to make sure that I am measuring this right. Now we're going to do this in 3 sections. Okay. So we have 3 things. We have our dry ingredients, our wet ingredients, and then we have our oil. So I am going to add in the coconut and water mixture into the flour to make it doughy. And I'm also going to be gradually adding in the coconut oil. So one of the things I'm always bragging about is the aromas that's coming out my kitchen, and today is no different. So we have here our bread. And so I'm going to just kind of knead it a little bit more. And this is what it's looked like. This is going to make 6 little flatbreads, and each of the flatbreads is 100 calories. You cannot beat that. So I'm just going to put that over there. I am going to knead this just a little bit more. It has sat and it's rested. I have made my chickpeas. The plantains are in the oven, which I will be stopping to check on that in just a little bit. When I checked on it, I ended up flipping it. They had a nice golden brown consistency. So I have already washed my hands, and I'm going to cut these in 6 parts. Well, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. So I have, this is like a cake scooper thing, but you can also cut with it. I think I got this from Michael's or something. So we're going to cut this in half. Okay. Now make 6 flatbreads. I'm trying to remember how I did this before. So I think I just kind of like roll this. I also have my, what is it called? My wooden roller. Well, this is like bamboo. I've had that for years. Okay. So like I said, typically this makes 6, but I think today we're not going to make them so small, or maybe we might. Okay. Figure that out. Cause sometimes, you know, I made it the first time and I was like, ooh, this is good. Okay. So we have 6 pieces. These look like little biscuits, don't they? 6. Okay. So what we're going to need also, I'm going to need some flour. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to grab my flour, fight with it. So I'm going to put it on my cutting board. Okay. Put my flour right there. As we need flour, we're going to go in and we're going to grab our flour. We're going to roll it out. So because we want to make sure that our dough does not stick so heavily to our cutting board, but we also want to make sure it's working well with it. Today was a stressful, well, not a stressful day, but it's been an interesting week for me. And when I come, and I know that I am going to be filming on Tuesdays, and I'm going to be cooking something that's whole and hearty, that gives me a lot of joy. So I'm super excited about eating this meal, sitting in front of the TV, watching Paradise. And that's one of my greatest joys on Tuesdays. I have like, you know, shows that I watch, like Tuesdays, watch Paradise. And Wednesdays, I try to watch 3 shows, but it ain't realistic because I end up falling asleep after the second show. And then last week I had to watch it again. But my 3 shows are Will Trent, The Rookie, and Hyperpotential. And then on Thursday nights, I watch School Spirits, and I watch that show. I think this is like the 2nd season, and I kind of like those shows. So that's what I do when I'm not watching those shows. Pretty much, I am watching YouTube. I'm just trying to consume like good content, listening to music. I have really been off of social media for quite some time. Did something to my mentals, and then I went back on social media, and I immediately remember why I got off of social media in the first place. Now, I was talking to my sister today about focus and the fact that when you're focusing on something, you have to shut all things out. So that's what I had to do with social media. I had to shut that thing out, with the exception of YouTube. I even have to be very careful about how much content I am consuming on YouTube as well. So that goes without saying. So what I'm going to do, this is what our flatbread is looking like right now. Super flat, nice size, consistency. So I'm going to roll out the rest of these, put these on a plate, and then I'm going to bring it over to our pot so that I can show you how we're going to turn them into the flatbreads that we're going to eat.
In this crazy life we live, we all need someone to hold, a friend to light the way when the world starts to unfold. Through all the ups and downs, the highs and lows we share, we'll stick together, ride or die, let's show we really care. Through thick and thin, you've been there by my side, a shoulder to lean on when the tears couldn't hide. You're the one who lifts me up when I'm feeling down. With
So now I finished rolling out all my flatbreads, and I got them on a plate. I got them back here on the stove, and we are about to go over to the stove. We are going to actually fry up the flatbreads with coconut oil. So coconut flatbread with coconut oil in there and coconut milk. And we are going to use this coconut oil to just continue with that coconutty flavor, the coconut taste. So we're going to go over to our stove. Let's go. This is what our flatbread is looking like before we put it in the pot. I'm going to show you what it looks like after we've done our first flatbread, and then we're gonna put our meal together.
Oh, friendship, all the storms and sunny days, together we'll walk this road, hand in hand, yeah. Friendship, oh, friendship, let's make our colors blend. In the silence of the night, all the chaos of the day, you're the one I turn to in every single way. With you, find solace in the warmth of your embrace. Together we stand strong in this endless race. Friendship, oh friendship, let's make our colors blend. Oh, friendship, upon the storms and sunny days, together we'll walk this road, hand in hand.
So this is what our flatbread is looking like, really nice and brown. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our chickpeas inside. We're gonna do some lettuce, some cucumbers, avocados, roasted red peppers, pickled onions. I figured out that I don't have tomatoes, so I'm going to plate this, come back, and then we're gonna eat. Look at this. Look how it came out, y'all. The flatbread with the chickpeas, and you guys just saw me make it up. True to form, I took my eyes off my plantain and it got a little dark, but it's okay. Nonetheless, it still tastes delicious. Still tastes good. Let's eat the flatbread. Let's taste everything together. Yeah, this is good. Really good. You all have to try this and let me know how you like it. But we've got, I was going to do 2 flatbread, but after I had the one, I was kind of stuffed right now. But these are the rest of my flatbreads. I'm going to give some to my daughter. And I'm going to have some for my lunch tomorrow. I've got some leftovers. I'm going to pack my lunch. I'm going to watch some TV. I'm going to relax and unwind for the evening. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. And just remember to put on your whole armor of God. But while you're doing so, remember to have some good food. And if you are looking for a Holy Girl gang or Holy Girl tribe, come right back here and let's get healthy doing it. All right. I love you guys and thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you like this content. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to subscribe. And please recommend this video to someone else. Bye.